I enjoy it. Well, we are going to start in a seated pose today. So we want to come on down to our mats and get comfortable. Take a few deep breaths.
Easier said than done.
Yes, easier said than done sometimes, that's true. All right, and then if you just want to think about, again, elongating your spine, taking a nice deep breath in and exhale out. And bring your attention and your focus to the present moment. And then today we are talking about moving from perfectionists to improvenists. This is a phrase coined by Mr. Chaz, who is he works as a certified consultant for conscious discipline, and but I just love that idea of switching from this idea of perfectionism to just accepting where we are and just seeing how we might be able to grow. So let me open us in a word of prayer as we begin today. If you want to go ahead and close your eyes or soften your gaze, feel free to do that. Bring your hands into a comfortable position and continue to breathe deeply. God, thank you that you do not demand perfection from us. Lord, that you lovingly look at us and meet us just right where we are, no matter where that is. And so, Lord, we just ask that your presence would come and meet us here as we move our bodies gently, that you would care for us as we begin to change our mindsets around moving from perfectionism to growth. So we love you and we thank you for your presence with us today. Amen. We're going to start by just putting one foot in front of the other and then placing our hands on the mat in front of us, thinking about keeping our back straight if we can. And if this is enough of a stretch, feel free to stay here, or if you would like, you can explore this a little further by kind of melting your heart down toward the mat. So again, kind of leading with your heart. Feeling that deep stretch on the backside of your glutes here, on the outside of your hip as well. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and walk those hands back to center. We're going to switch whichever foot is in front. Again, sitting nice and tall, placing your hands on the mat in front of you, and then starting to walk those hands away from your body, if you would like. Again, breathing deeply here. Thinking about that hip and the glutes as well, really stretching into that part of your body. And then when you're ready, you're going to go ahead and walk those hands back towards center. If you would like, you can take your hands behind your back. We're going to interlace the fingers and then pull down at our spine, opening up the chest, looking up toward the ceiling. Just kind of allowing that breath to have its work in your chest. Really opening it up. And then releasing that. Go ahead and bring your hands to your knees. We're going to take our chin down to our chest. Just starting to warm up those neck muscles. And then if you'd like, you can roll your left ear toward your left shoulder. If this is enough of a stretch, stay here, but if you'd like a little bit more, you can pull your right palm down toward the mat. And if you'd like an even deeper stretch, you can make a little fist with your right hand and place that in the small of your back and then kind of pull down on that right shoulder. Really feel that all the way up through your trapezius and then also through your neck muscles here. One more deep breath here. And then releasing that forward, we're going to roll our chin back down to our chest. And then roll that right ear toward the right shoulder. Again, feel free to stay here, or you can press your left palm down toward the mat. Or you can also make a fist with the left hand, place that left fist in the small of your back, and then pull down on the left shoulder. Taking one more deep breath here. When you're ready, you can go ahead and release that. Bring your chin back down to your chest once more. And then roll that neck up. And then when you're ready, we're going to move back into the poses that we were just in, where we have one foot in front, our legs are bent, and then our hands are on the mat in front of us. And either you can stay here, or you can walk those hands forward, and then just round your spine down. Just kind of easing into our practice today. And then walking those hands back towards center. We're going to switch whichever foot is in front here. And then do the same thing, hands on the mat. And then if you would like to stay here, you're welcome to. If you'd like to walk your hands forward, you can. And then just round your back down. Bless you. Taking one more deep breath here. And then go ahead and walk those hands back to center. We're going to take that left leg out to the side. We're going to leave the right leg bent. And we're going to take the right hand, reach that up toward the ceiling, and then bend over toward that lengthened leg. Again, coming only as far as feels comfortable to you. So you're bending toward your lengthened leg. Yep, you got it. Continuing to breathe. Thinking about, again, opening up that chest even as you're in this pose. And then extending that back to center. We're going to switch sides. So bending your left knee, taking the right leg out straight to the side. Your left arm goes up overhead as you inhale. And then as you exhale, you can bend over that extended leg. Really getting a nice side stretch here. Thinking about our quote from Mr. Chaz that says, "We are moving from perfectionists to improvenists." And then when you're ready, go ahead and bring that back to center. We're going to go ahead and take both legs straight out in front of us. We're going to take both hands down to the mat. Inhale, both arms up. And then if you can, go ahead and start to fold forward. If you can keep your back a little bit flat, that would be helpful. That might mean that you're not coming down quite as far as you might be used to. Sometimes we can trick ourselves with our own flexibility. We find flexibility in a different part of our bodies, which is kind of funny. All right, when you're ready, walk those hands back to center. Take those feet, the soles of the feet together for butterfly pose. And go ahead and either bounce your knees, or you can bend forward and use your elbows to help press the knees down toward the mat. Again, taking some nice deep breaths here. When you're ready, you can walk your hands back to the outside of your knees, help those knees together. We're going to swish our legs off to one side. And then we're going to come up onto all fours. And here we're going to start with our beloved cat-cows. So go ahead and drop your belly when you're ready. Allow the tailbone to come up. Allow the crown of the head to come up. And then when you're ready to exhale, tuck that tailbone down. Allow the arch to come up through the back, tucking the chin. And then when you're ready for your inhale, go ahead and press that belly down. Open up that chest. And then when you're ready for your exhale, arch up into cat. And then go ahead and flow through several of these at your own pace. Then coming back to neutral, we're going to go ahead and take our toes together, take our knees as wide as the mat, sit our hips back over top of our ankles, and then stretch our arms forward into child's pose. And if this is not comfortable for you, always feel free to come up either on your forearms like this, or you can stack your fists one on top of the other, and then rest your forehead on your fists as well. And when you're ready, you can press your hands into the mat. We're going to come up onto all fours again. And we're going to do what we call barrel rolls. So if you want to think of it like as if your belly button was a pen, and you're going to draw some really big circles up and down this way with your midsection. So you're going to start by dropping that belly button down, and then you're going to take it over to the side, and then arch up, and then around to the other side, and then down again. And just go ahead and try that. Doesn't have to be perfect, and we are being improvenists today. We're just trying something new, seeing how that fits in our body. And then go ahead and I'm going to invite you to go the other direction. So again, out to the side, up, across the back, out to the side, and down again. We might look like cats that are falling through the air, getting back to all 4 feet, right? And then coming back to neutral, and again, take those toes together, take the knees as wide as the mat, sitting back on our heels, stretching forward into child's pose once more. When you're ready, you can start to walk your hands to the right side, really opening up that left side body. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and start to walk those hands to the left side. Holding up the right side body. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and start to walk those hands back towards center, coming down into our child's pose one more time. And pressing those palms into the mat, go ahead and pull yourself back up onto all fours. This time, we're gonna shift our weight to the left knee. We're gonna slide that right knee up in between these two front hands. And then come down into pigeon pose on the right side. And then here you can just go ahead and fold forward if you would like, or you can stay up on your hands. Either one is fine. Taking some nice deep breaths here. Some of you may know that years ago, I used to teach economics for a couple of years. And you may be wondering, why is she talking about economics in yoga? But we, we studied a lot of different things, sustainability, we studied growth, we studied how people used limited resources and things like that. And one of the concepts that we studied was talking about this marginal increase. So when you're ready, you're going to work yourself back up onto your palms. You're going to start to lift your hips and slide that right knee back. And then you're going to switch sides. So sliding the left knee forward between those two front hands. Go ahead and come down into pigeon pose on the other side. And then feel free to lean forward over top of that front knee. Taking some nice deep breaths here. But this idea of the marginal increase, we were kind of combining that with some other ideas, talking about the sustainability of organizations and how if you have a lot of growth all at once, it can be hard to sustain. And how a lot of times it is much easier over the long haul to sustain just these incremental, kind of little growth spurts. Yes. And here comes our yoga concept for today. And it's that so often at the beginning of the year, we think, okay, this is the year I'm going to do it. I'm going to do yoga every day.
Are you reading my body? My body.
I know. It's so easy to do, but sometimes what we need to do is to reflect on what is sustainable. So maybe we make a goal that is not as grandiose. Maybe we look at something like, okay, I'll try yoga once a week as opposed to yoga every day if you're just starting out, or looking at that in some other way. So when you're ready, you can move up onto your palms again and we'll start to slide that knee back underneath our hip. And then we're gonna take our right foot and step it forward between our two front hands. So again, you don't have to look pretty, but we're gonna step that foot forward so that way then we can sink down into a low lunge here. We're still warming up all of those big muscle groups in our bodies. Continuing to take some deep breaths. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and start to shift your weight back and take that right foot back down. Shifting our weight to the other side, we're gonna step the left foot forward. And then sink forward into that low lunge on the other side. Again, just doing what you can, when you can. And then when you're ready, we're gonna start to shift our hips back. I'm gonna step that left foot back to meet the right foot. This time, we're gonna shift our weight to the other side, stepping the right foot forward. And then we're gonna tuck our back toes and see if we can straighten that back leg coming into a runner's lunge. So whereas the low lunge, you probably felt it on the front side of your thigh. In the runner's lunge, a lot of times you'll feel this in the back of your calf muscle. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and release that knee down, untuck the toes, step that right foot back. And then we're going to shift our weight to the other side, taking that left foot forward, tucking the back toes, straightening the back leg, coming into that runner's lunge. Taking some deep breaths here. We're still using our palms to support ourselves. And then go ahead and drop that back knee, untuck the toes, step the right foot back to meet step the left foot back to meet the right. Again, we're gonna switch sides. We're kind of building into our active practice. You might be able to feel that in your body here. So low lunge first, tuck the toes, straighten that back leg into runner's lunge. This time planting that left hand on the mat, reaching up with the right for a gentle twist. Taking a nice deep breath here. And then coming back down. Letting that back knee come down, untuck the toes, step that right foot back. You kind of know where we're going now, so stepping forward with that left foot, coming into that low lunge, then tucking the toes, straighten the back leg, plant that right hand on the mat, stretch up with the left hand reaching toward the ceiling, continuing to breathe. Taking that left hand down to the mat, let the knee drop, untuck the toes, and then step that left foot back. We're going to do the other side again. We're doing these incremental increases here in our poses. So we're starting again with a low lunge. You've got that one down pretty good, tucking the back toes. Straightening that back leg, planting that palm down, reaching up with the right hand. This time sweeping that right hand down, pressing the feet into the mat. See if you can raise up into crescent lunge. And then if you can, open up your arms toward that front leg. So you're facing toward your front leg. Yep, you go ahead. And then go ahead and windmill those arms down to the mat. And drop that back knee, untuck the toes. Take that right foot back. We'll do the other side. Stepping forward with the left. Leaning into that. Tucking the back toes. Straightening the back leg. Planting the right palm as we reach up with the left. Then taking that left hand back down to the mat. When you're ready, pressing those feet into the mat, lifting up into our crescent lunge. And if you can, opening up those arms toward your front leg. Taking a nice deep breath here. And then windmill those arms back down to the mat. Let that knee come down, untuck the toes, step that left foot back, take your toes together, knees as wide as the mat, and then sit back from those heels, resting your head on the mat, coming into child's pose. Just taking a minute to recover your breath. And while you rest here, I wanted to read this for us. This talks about the conscious discipline way of doing things versus traditional discipline, but I think it applies to us as well. It says, conscious discipline is transformational change, which is very different than traditional or transitional change. Traditional change asks us to do skill A better, faster, more effectively. Transitional change asks us to stop doing skill A and to learn skill B. Transformational change asks us to change both our mindset and our skill set. For that to happen, we must be committed to the process, allowing ourselves to make mistakes and take it slowly. It is a process that takes patience and forgiveness, but the payoff from that persistence is life-changing and will impact generations to come. When you're ready, you can go ahead and pull yourself up to all fours once more. We're going to turn around and come back to a seated pose here. And we're going to take our right leg out on one side, left leg in. And we're going to do some wild things into a forward fold. And so we're going to start by folding over top of our extended leg. Just taking a few deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and sit up, take that left hand behind your left hip, and you're going to come up on your right heel and lift your hips up toward the ceiling. It looks like this as you bend backward and open up your heart. Taking a few deep breaths here. And then go ahead and sit those hips back down. And then you're going to fold over top of that extended leg. So then at your own pace, you're going to inhale as you move back into wild thing. And then you're going to exhale as you move forward into forward fold. Again, just going at your own pace. Following your own breath, taking it slow, reminding yourself that mistakes are okay to make. So if it doesn't feel just exactly right, that's okay. Just doing as much as you can. And then coming back to center. When you're ready, we're going to switch sides. So extend the left leg out, folding the right leg in, and then folding forward over top of that extended leg. Taking some nice deep breaths. When you're ready, you can walk those hands back. Take the right hand behind your right hip. You're going to lift up, inhale that left arm up as you open up your chest toward the ceiling. Taking a few deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, go ahead and set those hips down. Look toward that lengthened leg and extend over top. And then again, at your own pace, you're gonna inhale as you lift up. And then exhale as you fold forward. And after you've done a couple of those, you'll meet me back in a seated pose here. We're gonna once more start like we did at the beginning, where we have our legs folded one in front of the other, hands on the mat in front of us, back is nice and straight. And then as you exhale, you're gonna walk those hands forward if you can, rounding your back down, tucking your chin. Taking one more deep breath here, and then on your exhale, go ahead and walk those hands back towards center, switching whichever foot is in front. Sitting nice and tall, and then placing your hands on the mat, and then walking those hands forward as you exhale and round down. And then when you're ready, you can start to walk those hands back towards center. We're gonna bring those knees together, sweep those off to one side. Coming up onto our knees this time. Turn this way so you guys can see a little better, hopefully. We're gonna go ahead and take our palms to our low back space. It's almost like you were tucking the tips of your fingers into your back pockets. You're gonna draw those elbows back toward each other, opening up your chest. And then if you would like, you can add a little back bend here by shifting your hips forward, opening up your chest toward the ceiling. For camel pose.
Camel?
Camel pose, yeah. And then coming up out of that, we're gonna let our hips shift back over top of our heels, extending our arms in front of us for child's pose. Then shifting your right hand, sliding that under your left hand. Go ahead and come down back to the mat if you can. For thread the needle. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and slide that right hand back out. Inhale and slide that left hand underneath. Coming back down to the mat. Breathing deeply here. When you're ready, you can take that left hand, slide it back out in front of you, coming back down into child's pose one more time, and then go ahead and walk those hands in toward your body. Stand up onto your knees once more. Nice and slow, taking those hands to that low back space again, drawing those elbows toward each other, opening up the chest as you look up. And then if you would like, you can start to arch that back, coming into a slight back bend here. Continuing to breathe deeply. And then coming up out of that pose, shifting our hips back once more, coming down into our child's pose. When you're ready, you can start to walk those hands back towards your knees once more. We're gonna stand up onto our knees and then step forward with our left foot. And go ahead and place those hands on top of that left knee, tuck your back toes, and then step forward to the front of your mat. We're gonna inhale both arms out. Palms together, exhale down to heart center, and then keep exhaling as you fold all the way forward. Just letting your head hang down here. Give you a nice stretch all along the backside of your body. When you're ready, you're gonna plant your hands on the mat, and then you're gonna step back with that right foot, and you're gonna step back with the left foot. Then into our plank pose. You can either be here, or you can bend your knees and come into a modified plank pose. We're gonna lower ourselves all the way down to the mat. And then we're gonna push ourselves up into a little cobra. And then we're gonna exhale down. And then inhale up into cobra. Exhale all the way down. We'll do this 3 or 4 times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Might be feeling this in your arms. Inhale up. Exhale all the way down. This time, inhaling while your hands are still underneath your shoulders, and then exhaling as you push up into your modified plank. Holding this for a breath or 2. And then if you can, go ahead and tuck your toes. And then straighten both legs coming into full plank. And stepping forward with your right foot. And step forward with your left foot. Coming into a bent knee position where you take one elbow in each hand and then hang down in a ragdoll pose. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and take those hands, place them on your knees, and then very slowly round yourself all the way up. Very good. We got one more of those to do on the other side, so we'll go ahead and take arms up. Inhale, palms together, exhale down to heart center first, and then keep exhaling all the way forward. Hanging out here in our forward fold for a little bit. And then when you're ready, you're going to plant your hands at the front of your mat. Step back this time with your left foot. And then your right foot. Coming into our plank pose. Drawing that belly button in toward the spine. And then go ahead and drop those knees, untuck the toes, coming into modified plank. And then keeping the elbows close to your body, go ahead and lower all the way down. Then inhale up into cobra. And then exhale down. Again, we'll do this 3 or 4 times. Inhaling up, exhaling down, inhale up, exhale down, maybe one more, inhale up, exhale all the way down. You might really be feeling that now. Inhale while you keep your palms underneath your shoulders, and exhale, pushing up into modified plank pose. Holding this for a breath or two, and then tucking those toes. See if you can straighten both legs, coming up into full plank. This time stepping forward with that left foot, and then forward with the right foot. Again, coming into ragdoll pose. So one elbow in each arm, in each hand. Hanging down, allowing that spine to get stretched out. Then taking those hands, placing them on your knees, and then slowly wrapping yourself up. The head should be the last thing that comes into place. Very good. So we're going to move into our balancing posture. So feel free to move to a wall or to a chair or a table if we need to. And today we're going to start, like we always do, in our mountain pose. So think about your feet being hip width apart, everything stacked on top of each other as it should be. So ears over top of shoulders, shoulders over top of hips, hips over top of ankles. Softening those shoulders down and away from your ears. Just take a nice deep cleansing breath in this pose first. And then when you're ready, we're going to shift our weight to the right foot, drawing that left foot in like a little kickstand. So heel is on your, well, mine comes just above my ankle, and the ball of my foot stays on the mat. And then drawing those hands to heart center for tree pose. And then when you're ready, if you would like, you can go ahead and explore this a little further by bringing that foot up the leg, finding a pose that's comfortable for you, and then maybe extending those arms out to either side if that, again, feels comfortable to you. Just testing it out. Exploring your balance. And when you're ready, you can bring those arms back to heart center, drop the foot down and step back out. Release those hands all the way down back into mountain. Again, taking some nice cleansing breaths here in mountain. Just kind of realigning everything as you stand here. Softening that tailbone down. And then when you're ready, you can shift the weight to the left side, drawing that right foot in again, kind of like a little kickstand, taking hands to heart center for tree. And then when you're ready, bringing that foot up if you would like, and then extending one arm out at a time for tree pose. Thinking about engaging your core. That helps your balance so much. And then when you're ready, taking those arms back or down to heart center. And then sliding that foot down, stepping out, releasing the arms down into mountain pose. Very good. We are going to come back to the center of our mats. We're going to extend into wide open A here. And then we're going to go ahead and turn our toes out at an angle. And then bend your knees, coming down into your version of goddess pose or horse pose, depending on what you want to call it. We're going to go ahead and stand up out of this and then come back down into it. Standing up out of it, and then exhaling down, standing up again, and then coming down once more, holding this pose for a breath, and then taking both hands all the way down to the mat, and then extending our hips up towards the ceiling, You might find that it's more comfortable to turn your toes toward the long edge of your mat, so feel free to do that. If it's more comfortable for you to go ahead and leave them turned out, feel free to do that too. When you're ready, we're gonna go ahead and drop those hips back down. We're gonna put both hands on our knees, and then we're gonna round ourselves up slowly. Again, head should be the last thing that comes up. Kind of heel toe those feet together. We're gonna come back down to the mat into a laying down position. So however you wanna get there is just fine. No right or wrong way to do it. I'm gonna invite you to draw your knees into your chest, to take the palms on the front side of the knees, and then just to draw some small circles here. Taking another deep breath. Maybe going the opposite direction. Feeling that on the small of your back. Drawing your knees into your chest, taking those feet down to the mat. Taking another nice deep breath. We're going to extend our right leg down, and then the left leg down. We're reaching our arms up overhead for a full body stretch. Fingertips to one wall, toes pointed toward the other. And when you're ready to exhale, go ahead and sweep those arms all the way down along the side of your body. Allow those feet to fall open. And then if you would like, you can go ahead and start to scan your body, just moving up one section at a time from your feet. Checking in, relaxing each muscle group, releasing and letting go. Even relaxation comes in incremental shifts sometimes. We try to relax the whole body, we can't focus necessarily, so we end up with parts of our body that are still tense or still holding on to things. So again, just moving from that perfectionistic mind frame to the improvementist mind frame allows us to do this slowly, with intention, with lots of grace. Doesn't all have to happen right now and all at the same time. It's still progress, even if it's small. Taking another deep breath here. And letting that go. We've come to our final relaxation time. So we'll have a few moments of silence, and then I'll call us back together to end. When you're ready, I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness back to this room. And just take a nice deep breath in your nose and out of your mouth. If you'd like, you can go ahead and turn to one side. Gently pushing yourself up into a seated position. Taking those shoulders up towards your ears. And then as you exhale, floating those shoulders down away from your ears. And then let me close us in a word of prayer. God, we thank you again for your presence with us, for this time and space to practice and shift our mindset away from perfectionism and into the mindset of improvementist. That just because change is small, it doesn't mean that it's not effective or that it doesn't matter. So God, would you give us a new mindset? Would you continue to show us the small incremental steps that we need to take in our lives? Again, we love you, and it's in your name we pray. Amen.